Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Mary R. and Glenn. Glenn, I'm so sorry you haven't been feeling good, buddy. You take it easy and get rested up. Oh, my gosh. That's terrible. Mary, I hope your shoulder's feeling good. Better anyway. We're going to hang out here for a minute and see if our other folks join us. We have a lot of these kits out there, so I know we have a lot of people who are interested in making them. We're down to one kit left in the store. If we run out, I think, hi, Thelma. I think we have enough materials to create some more, but we'll have to see. If you want to make absolutely certain you should buy your kit, while we wait, I'm going to cut a couple pieces that were not in my instructor's kit. I'm going to cut the decorative oval. Die. And I'm actually going to slightly undercut this. What I mean by that is I'm going to take my spacer plate out so the pieces won't just pop out of this die, because I actually want the pieces in this time. I like the texture of the pattern, but I don't want the pieces to fall out. I'm going to use this in my front cover. So can you come down to my hands, please? So this is what I want my die to look like. You should have one in your kit. It's all pre-cut for you. I'm not going to use the label plate that I printed on this one, simply because this will be my second journal of the year, and I'm not sure what I'm going to end up using this for. Okay. Put my die away. This is just the prettiest die, guys. This is the one we gave away free in December with $100 order. It's beautiful. It's a pretty good deal. $29.95 die for free. That's the one we're using for the cover. Okay, let's take a look at what else we have in our kit. If you would do me a favor, honey, you could go ahead and cut these leaves for me while we're filming, if you would. There's only one. I'm using the leaves from the classic floral. There are leaves in your kit. I just chose to use a little bit darker green leaves on mine, and so I'm using a classic floral die. You will not get these pre-cut dies in your kit because this was just a substitution that I decided to make in mine, which I'm sure you guys do on occasion. And so if you would cut some of these out of this and just run them through this machine back here.
How many?
Let's make about 7 or 8. Okay. All right, let's see what else we've got in here. So I'm using a couple of supplies that are not already in the kit. Let's take a look at what you actually get in your kit. You're going to get the Graphic 45 rectangle tag and pocket album. These are available in the store, both in the kit and separately. I think this runs $17. You're going to get a couple of photo corners to protect the corners of your album. You're going to get the Flower Market paper pack that we'll be using throughout this project. It has 2 sheets, each of 12 different patterns, one for each month of the year. You're going to get a yard of black double-faced satin ribbon. You're going to get Graphic 45 ephemera pack. You're going to get a Graphic 45 Flower Market collection. You're going to get 2 extra pieces of rose paper, which was the June flower. This is what we're going to use to decorate our cover. You're going to get 10 sheets of black cardstock. This is actually the Stamper's card. I wanted a cardstock that was just as jet black as our album is. So you're going to get 10 sheets of that. You're going to get a sheet of chipboard to make the front and back covers. You're going to get a template to cut the spine of your album, which will be great. You're going to get the pre-cut die cut piece. You're going to get, you're not getting this is actually one I had left over that I'm going to use to do my 2 covers. And that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and open our album and get started. I wonder where everybody is today. We have so many people that bought this kit. We don't have a lot of people out there today. Everybody kind of recouping from New Year's and Christmas and really sturdy packaging on these albums. Okay, here we go. There's just some little spacers inside of here. Little extra space keepers. When we get inside, we'll see that the album is put together using these little packs of pages. There's 3 pages to a pack, and there's a dozen of these packs in the album. Now, one thing I found as I worked was that the way that these are glued in here, the further I got through the album, the more I kind of needed to reinforce this seam. You'll probably see as we work, I could hear kind of a crackling sound, and then I'd see the album lift a little along some of these pages, just because we're doing a lot of work in this album. So as necessary, I took my little fine tip glue bottle and just glued back the centerpieces here. But that's I told you there were 12 of those, or 6 of those 3-piece sets. We're not quite done yet. We need to take these out, and then we're going to put them in the flower press to get them to texture, please. So if you can, you should see the look I'm getting, guys. If you can take these out, pop the little extras out of them. And then we're going to put them in this flower mold. We'll spritz them just a little with water and run it back through to go face down. Not that it matters with this paper because it's the same color on both sides. But you can take those out. We're going to put them in here. Hi, Roberta. Hi, Sharma. Good to see you guys. They're going to go right here.
One at a time.
Now you can put a couple in at a time. And then spritz it with just a little spritz of water off my water bottle there. And then this substitutes for the big fat plate. And it goes in again.
By itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it goes through on this one. That's my belief.
On those two?
Yeah, these two plates. If I'm wrong, you'll be able to tell. Okay. So I said there were 12 of these. There's actually 6 because it's double-sided pages. So each section does 2 months. Anyway, so we've got our album ready to go. And we're going to get our Flower Market paper out here. Yeah, so you've experienced that too, Roberta. It's just there's a lot happening with that album, and it's not that they're poorly made. They're actually very nicely designed, but I did find that I had to reapply a little bit of glue here and there. Okay, and it's clearly December, so let's, those are my June pages. Oh, well, there's the June, no. Well, this one has 4 June pages. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, June got put in it twice. Okay. We're going to start with our January pages. Let's look at our finished album and see where we're going. We'll do our cover last. So we're going to start right here at the beginning. And we will be using all of our 2 pages.
It doesn't go through with the 2 plates.
Okay. Switch
Take one off?
No, it doesn't have this one. It just has the bottom one. Okay. So we're going to start by working on January. I'm going to begin by cutting out the elements I'm going to use for January, which is virtually all of them. Hi, Sue. So I'm going to start by cutting off the name off the top. Then I'm going to cut right along the bubble side of the scallop edge here. I want to be right at the edge of that scallop. I'm not going to try and cut all the little bubbles. I'm cutting right along the scallopy edge to create this piece. Next, I'm going to take out this big carnation piece. We'll be doing the same process for each month of the year.
Let's write each piece of paper.
Just
one
put,
side.
Go ahead. No, just go ahead. Put it on your mold, and spritz it a little bit before you close your mold over it.
If I'm doing 2 pieces of paper, the bottom won't get spritzed.
Yeah, you look good. Good job, honey. Okay. All right, so we got our big carnation paper out. Okay. I'm going to cut out my tag. We're going to use almost every piece out of this. You won't believe how efficiently we're going to use this paper pack. Cut out my tag. I'm going to cut out my calendar. And with my calendar, I'm going to do the same thing. It has a scallop edge on it. I'm going to cut right along the edge of the bubbles. On those scallops. So I've got my first calendar out. I'm going to take this label here. It says admiration, which is supposed to be a character trait of people born in January. So we're going to do every month of the year, but we're going to go one at a time because we don't need all those pieces running around our desk while we're working. I'm going to cut right along the edge of the bubbles on this border at the bottom. Okay. I'm going to cut out this label, which we're going to use on our very first page, I think. You'll notice when I'm cutting, I'm bringing the paper to the scissors. I'm not moving the scissors. That will give you much better control when you're fussy cutting, to move the paper rather than trying to move your scissors. There's nothing in this fussy cutting that's particularly difficult. I'm going to take these, actually I'm going to cut out this little 1-inch January 1 carnation label. It's about maybe 1 1/4 inches actually. And then I'm going to cut off these 2 stamps at the top, cutting right along the perfed edge of the stamps. Oh, fun. You should have fun with that well-groomed, Roberta, I think. Okay, my last piece to cut here is going to be this border with the butterfly. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go right along the bubble edge, again, of my scallops to the edge of my wing. I'm going to cut around my wing. And then proceed cutting along the bubble edge again. And I'll do the same thing on the bottom. I will start over here at the flower. I'm just going to cut through the flower and cut where the bubble edge would be. I'm going to cut around my wings for the butterfly. These wings have a tiny little ruffle. I'm not worrying about that. I'm just cutting the edge. I'm just cutting them straight along there. Once I have rounded my butterfly, I'm going to cut right along the edge of the bubbles again, and I end up with this great little strip. Now, I did not personally choose to use these little circles that say flower market on them. It just kind of felt like advertising, and I didn't choose to use those. You will have on all of our pages a little strip that would be really cute little bookmarks. But that's all that's left out of that first page. Next, let's get our second page. And on this page, we're going to use the other side here. I am going to trim this border off so I don't don't accidentally include that in my measures. And the first thing we're going to do is to create our pocket for our cover page. So, my cover page, get my ruler out of here. Oh. My cover page is 5 3/4 wide by 8 inches long, 5 3/4 by 8. So I'm going to cut my piece to be 5 1/2 by 7 3/4, because as we do when we're making cards, I want to leave a little border around everything. So I'm going to cut this to, did I just say 5? And I think 5 1/2 by 7 3/4, but let me just double check it. No, actually I can do, it's really not 5 3/4, it's 6. So I've got a 6 by 8 page, so I'm going to do 5 3/4 by 7 3/4 on this cutoff page. Now you'll notice that when I'm cutting this large piece out, I am not going to cut all the way through my paper going down. I'm going to use every bit of this paper, and I want to have the largest pieces I can have. So I'm going to be very stingy with my paper by just cutting my lines right where they have to be. So I've got this beautiful piece left. Now I'm going to I'm going to check it against my album. So I don't want it to be too big. And it looks like my fold line is actually coming in before I thought it did. I'm going to go back to taking another quarter strip off of that. Oh, that's because I cut it too big. How did I do that?
Because the one you meant to cut is this size over here, maybe?
Maybe. Oh, that could very well be. Which kind of defeats my purpose. And that would be true. Which kind of defeated my purpose in saying keep your scraps as big as you can. But you know me, I do these things. Yeah, this one fits. Okay, now I am going to take this piece that we just cut. No, we don't have to make it from scratch, Mary. The album's already put together. I did have to re-glue a little bit in the album as I went. It takes quite a bit of manhandling as we're putting all of our things in all of these pages. And as I worked in my first album, I haven't noticed anything loose in this one yet, but as I worked on my first album, I heard a little crackling, and then I noticed that I had some little loose seams inside. So I just took my glue bottle and ran along those to reinforce them. I'm taking that piece I just cut and I'm lining it up on my trimmer so that I have the points of my and I'm cutting diagonal across my page. And what that's going to give me is my pocket for this first page. This is going to be a fairly tight fitting pocket. It's not going to be a pocket that will hold 47,000 things because I'm not going to score it and fold it under to hold more. Truly, it's really just a pocket where you put maybe a tag or two, maybe one of your photo cards or two. And to make a pocket out of it, all I'm going to do is glue one side and the bottom. And I'm keeping my glue fairly close to the edges so that I can fit in my goodies that I want to put in my album. And we've got our first pocket in. I'll be able to slip things right in here. Wipe off any excess glue. And I'm going to use that tag we cut, the Carnation Fascination. It says, Carnation Fascination, what is a paradise but a garden? And it's by William Lawson, a quote. I'm going to go ahead and put that down on my page. Putting this above the pocket. Then I'm going to go to my ephemera packet and I'm going to find that beautiful carnation. I'm just kind of coming in about 1/4 of an inch down, 1/4 of an inch from the side. Now I'm going to get my ephemera packet out, wherever it has gone. Here with my not yet needed supplies. I'm going to get my ephemera out, and I'm going to find this beautiful carnation. See that one there? I'm going to get that carnation out. It would be useful to have a little box or tray or something I could put these in as we work. What's that box? That's a box lid on the table right there. I'll take that. Usually the ephemera packs have some little extraneous pieces in them. They are like the punch outs from the clock and some of those things. What are the chances we could get lucky and the one we want's right on top? There it is. That's the one I want. And I want to put that right over the corner of my quote there. Oh, I like that. That's going to be beautiful. I'm just going to put the rest of these pieces so I'm not losing them. These right here are little punch outs from the clock. They're not needed. I don't need to keep my packaging because I'm going to use all of my ephemera pieces out of my entire kit. I'm going to grab me a sticky specs because that will be easier than gluing on all these little stem pieces. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to kind of cover the little emblem at the bottom of that quote with my flower and then bring the stem right on down. That's so pretty. Our first page is done, guys. Here we go. That's our very first page finished. Isn't that pretty? Okay, this next page is fun because what we're going to do here is we are going to take another piece of our paper. I believe, let me see, these pages are 7.5 inches. So I'm going to cut this piece. This is almost 5.5. So I want about 1/4 of an inch around. So I'm going to cut this to 5 inches wide. Perfect. Could have maybe been 5 1/4, but 5.5 is fine. 5 is fine. And then I'm going to cut this to be, I believe I made it, let's make it 6.5. We're going to be adding borders above and below. Uh-oh, that was not 6.5. It was 6.5. Oh, I know what I did. Huh? What?
Hi, Elsie.
Hi, Elsie. Okay. I'm going to use a couple of my border pieces here. I'm going to use this piece that we cut out, and I'm going to put it on the top of my paper so that I have kind of an even border there. And I'm going to use the other piece of that at the bottom of this sheet. So I'm going to cut this. My paper was 5 inches wide, right? So I'm going to cut this in 2 5-inch segments. And I think I will go ahead. Let's see. I got to kind of remember how to do some of this as I go, guys. It's been a month or so since I made this, so bear with me while I figure my way through this first month. After 12 months, you feel like an old pro at it, but yeah, it's a little wider than I want it to be. I think I might have to cut my paper down just a little more. I'm going to take a little more off the length of my paper. I originally made it 6.5. I'm going to go for 6. And then I'm going to glue this border to the bottom of this side. And that looks really pretty. Yeah, that looks great. So let's get this border. I'm putting the glue along the bubble side, and I'm keeping this other side, and I'm making it relatively even. So you can tell that's a little wider on the bubble side, but I'm making it relatively even so that the pattern shows that stripe below with just about the same amount of blue showing on either side of the stripe. Let's try that in our page, and that is a perfect fit. So the page, the flower print gets cut to 6 on these pages. We'll go ahead and glue this in. This is going to be the cover for this page. You know, honey, there is a Cosmic Shimmer glue bottle on the table over there. A bigger one. Would you grab it for me, please? This is one project where a little bit larger spout in your glue bottle is kind of nice because at times we're covering quite a bit of territory. Okay, so we have our first page in, and that's looking good. See that? That looks terrific. Okay, next, we're going to grab our calendar for the month of January. We're going to get our scoreboard out. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm going to get my little tattered lace scoreboard. And I'm going to score this calendar on 3 sides. On the left side, on the bottom, and on the right side. I'm scoring this at 3/8 of an inch. Then I'm going to take my little scissors. I'm going to trim out the little square like sewing. You're getting rid of the excess fabric. Well, in this case, I'm getting rid of the excess paper. I'm going to take that little square out where the 2 score lines intersect at the bottom. I'm taking that out. Hi, Diane. And now I'm going to fold these up on my score line, folding it to the back. I'm going to use my bone folder to get a nice crease. My bone folder, i.e. score tool. I like to look at that and see, is there any little bit hanging down I want to get rid of? And I have just a tiny little overlap there I got rid of. You can see my calendar still looks great, but we now have a calendar that will become a pocket. And I'm going to mount this calendar so that the bottom of the calendar rests on that pattern in the blue paper, right across the top of that blue line. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue that down. I'll count my little bottle and see if I can see if this larger opening will help me. I didn't think so. This hadn't been used yet. So I'm going to try a little lighter nozzle here and see if that makes this a little easier for, whoa, well, it definitely got the glue there. I'm just going to have to not press so hard with this one. As this one really comes out. I'm used to those little tiny openings. This one comes right out. And I'm going to position my calendar, like I said, centering it between the two sides and letting the bottom of my calendar rest right on that blue line. Got a little bit of excess glue there, wipe that off. And you can already see it kind of gapping there. I have a pocket. I have a pocket there. Next, I'm going to use one of those stamps that I had on from our cutout sheet. I'm going to use a piece of black cardstock. I'm going to surround this stamp with just a bit of black. Put a little fine line of glue around here. And this one will be the first of many tags we'll be putting in our book. Now you can cut this with a paper cutter if you want to, or you can just eyeball it like I'm doing. Whatever makes you the most comfortable. So we have this little January card. And just because we have a pocket, we're going to put something in it. I'm going to put that little January tag right there in that pocket. Next, we're going to go to our next page. And our next page is going to be made out of the big cutout from our cutout sheet. You'll notice it's going to be just a little bit wide and a little bit short, but that's okay because we have these nice pieces that we cut off of our cutout sheet. So I'm going to trim this down. Again, it's 5.5 wide, roughly. So I'm going to take this carnation and I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut the edges off of it, kind of taking a little bit off each side until my page is 5 inches and it looks even. And now that's going to be a perfect fit there. I'm going to take this blue strip and I'm going to put these blue strips across the top and the bottom. The little bubbles are actually hid in virtually all of the circumstances. You could turn it around the other way and let this column show if you wanted to. I just like the solid blue. And all of the solid colors, actually, because I applied them all the same way. And I'm going to put another piece at the bottom here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue this one in place. Come down just a little. I'm liking the way that looks. Look at a baby wipe here. You can clean up glue excess with a baby wipe, but do not scrub, and just lightly pick up the glue, but don't scrub on it. This will cause your paper to pill. I do want to hold those down until they give me a nice finish. Okay, on this page, I am going to use this tag. I'm going to use this circle. I'm going to put the circle right up in here. And I'm going to take this stamp and I'm going to add glue to 3 edges. The 2 outside, right and left edges, and the bottom. I'm going to put that down here. And this tag is going to be a tag for that pocket. Hi, Karen. So this slides in and out. I can actually put some notes on here and a photo on the back if I want to. And there's my 3rd page finished. Next, we're going to work over this. We're going to do this tag page. And we're going to take a piece. This is just the right width already. Let me tell you what our width is. It's 4 1/4 inches. So it's already just the right height is actually what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to go to, I think, let's just keep with our 5 inches. I'm going to do 5 inches by 4 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and put this piece right here. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I'm putting glue all the way around it. This is going to become kind of the backer for this pocket page. And a little glue there, so I'm going to clean that up. Okay, next I'm going to cut this one to be, where's my ruler? It's going to be 5 inches wide, we know that, but I want to remind myself how tall the pocket is. The pocket is 3 inches, and I'm going to cut this to, let's cut this to 2 3/4. 2 3/4 by 5 to go on the lower part of this pocket. I can actually drop this down just a little bit because I'm going to take this butterfly border and I'm going to put it right at the edge of the pocket, which is going to look great. And this is glued down all the way. I'm just going to line it up next to that one. Then I'm going to cut my butterfly border to be 5 inches long. And this border is going to sit right at the edge of the page, or at the edge of the pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on that. Then I'm going to use my fingers to just kind of feel where the edge of the pocket is, and I'm putting this right at the edge of the pocket. Now it will have a little bit of hangover where the butterfly wing is. I like that, actually. So I'm going to put this right against the edge of the pocket there. And then I had this pretty tag piece that says admiration, and I'm going to put this admiration tag. I'm going to center it a little bit towards the right since the butterfly weights the page a little bit on that side. I'm going to come just a little bit to the right. Now, as you're working on this, you might be thinking, wow, it would be fun to put some of these elements on foam squares. And it would. It'd be very fun to put some of these elements on foam squares. What you think about, though, is that these albums are going to be really full by the time that we're done. And those foam squares are going to take up some of your volume of space you have available. So don't get too carried away with foam squares, because if you do, you're not going to be able to fit as much stuff in your album. Okay, let's take a look at what we've just done for January. Here's our January pocket page on the front cover, our calendar pocket. We have our carnation page with its little pocket and a tag. We have our pocket page that we just finished. We actually have a pocket tag to go in this one. That looks pretty already, but I'm going to look in my ephemera pack and see what I have that's a decorative element that I might put on that one. Last time I used this one, and I actually do like the way that this looks in the pocket, because it just kind of, it's dark and it's got nice contrast. And then you've got that nice paradise garden look to that. So let's see if we can find that tag or something comparable Oh, here it is. There's that one right there. I don't recall there being an awful lot of January ephemera. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, what was Paradise but a Garden tag here, right on my black tag. This is going to give me, for my journaling purposes, this is going to give me a beautiful space to put my project image, and then I can flip this over and do all my bullet points on the back. So we'll put this into its pocket. Sure that's nice and straight. Okay, there we go. That is January. Now, let's look at what we have for leftovers. Not much. I have this little piece right here that I can use to make a couple of tags. I have...
Say hi to Lisa D.
Hi, Lisa. It's Lisa Dutz. Okay, so I have just a little bit of scrap left here. Now, what some of these could be good for is if I wanted to make a tag and just put pattern down one side. It might look kind of funny right now to have pattern down one side, but it'll look beautiful to put a photo on that page later. Okay, and I have these little pieces here, which will also make great photo pages. So let's make a couple of photo pages out of these scraps. Let's make a couple of tags that are 5 inches tall by 4 inches wide, or 4 1/4 wide. Let's do that. Since no, we can't quite do that. 4 1/8 wide, because that should give me 2 of them. Because this is European A6 paper. This could be really pretty. Let's make this 4 inches wide. Then I'm going to have to cut it off a little bit at the bottom. But I'm going to make a photo card out of this one. And then when I put my photo on it, I'm going to put it right over the top of this angled edge. And that's actually going to look really pretty. I think I have a photo here. It's not the right kind of photo that I'm going to put in my journal, but I can probably show you what it would look like with a photo on top. I'm going to use this for my photo. Let's see. Cut this photo down just a bit for the sake of illustration. Cut it out even a little bit more. We don't need to advertise for the Lay's potato chip company in the front of that picture. Get it down to where it's just really the elements I want to profile. There we go. Look how pretty This will be with a photo on top. Now this isn't the photo that's going to go on there, but yes, I use my Cosmic Shimmer glue for almost everything I do, Karen. I also like art glitter glue. I like Nouveau. Those are the other two I use the most. So this becomes a tag for my journal. And then if I wanted to make another tag out of some of these leftover pieces, I think it would also be very pretty to just run a border up this side like this, so that once again when my photo is put on it, that also looks really pretty. Now, I'm not making this into a photo album. I don't want to confuse you guys. I'm going to be making pictures, taking pictures of my projects for the year. And I'm going to be putting pictures of my projects on the fronts of my tags, and on the backs of my tags, I will be putting some bullet points about that project. So I want to know, what was my inspiration for this? Did I use a pattern? If so, where did I get the pattern? I want to note anything that was odd or unusual about making it. Is there anything I had to alter or change in the pattern to have it turn out right? Hi, Catherine. So I've got my nice tags in here. Might be nice to have one or two of those tags over here in my front pocket. Of course, I'm going to cover up my elements for right now, but I could put them in my front pocket if I wanted, and they look better to leave that open for now. And just put them in this pocket. But that's how I'm going to use up some of my scraps, so that I won't have anything more than just a itty bitty little piece of my paper left in any of my patterns. Now, we did our first month just a little bit different because we had that cover sheet. This is exactly the way we're going to do December when you get to December. But let's these 3 pages, this page, and this page, may vary from month to month based on where the pocket page is. So in this one, I have a pocket page first. So I'm going to do this pocket page for February as my first page. And then I will have my flower packet, and I'll have my calendar on the following pages. I'd probably put my calendar next, and then I'll put my February flower packet following. Let's see. It's 3 o'clock. It took us just an hour to do that. We actually started just a little bit late. I'm thinking about whether I want to do one more month. I think we should do one more month so that you can see what a regular month looks like. Since we had January was a little bit different. It's going to be very much the same as what we just did. But let's do one more month together. And then for your following 9 months, it's going to be rinse and repeat. And we are going to, then when you get to December, you'll do December just like you did January, making a half-page pocket on the back cover in addition to your 3 pages for December. As I was working on this, everybody thought I can't tell you how many people thought I wasn't going to have enough pages in this album to do everything, but it works out to be perfect. You get 3 pages per month. Just cutting these out just like I did before. Here's my violet. I know I'll be trimming this down widthwise, so I really don't even have to cut the outside edge off yet. Here's my tag and my little embellishment. This time it says humility. That's supposed to be a trait of February birthdays, as people are supposed to show humility. I don't know, honey. Do I show humility? He's just chuckling, not answering. Okay. Cut this tag out. We were down to 1 album kit left this morning for our tag album. I believe we have enough materials to make more. So if you want one and you didn't get it, let me know. We will pop a couple more together. I already put this on the calendar for an on-site activity. So I guess we're going to need to make some more anyway, or our on-site people won't get their kits. Cutting out my February calendar. I'm cutting it outside the little bubbles on the scallops. I'm going to cut out this February violet 2, representing the 2nd month. Some beautiful little flowers that would be great to cut out, fussy cutting additions on this page. Just what else you could do with those little, at this point, unused side strips. Cut off my stamps here. Okay, we've got our stamps. We're almost done with this page already. This is another of the traits of February birthdays. It says February, people born in February are faithful. I would say that's true. In my experience, my honey's born in February. Just 6 years and 3 days from my birthday. There we go. That tag cut out. Last one we need to work on here is our butterfly. Just like before, we're going to cut across. We're going to kind of go up and around that butterfly wing just a little bit, and then trim across the top of the bubbles again. This time I'm going to start over here. I'm going to trim down to my butterfly wing. I'm going to fussy cut around my butterfly, ignoring the little ripples in the wings. I'm just straight cutting it.
Good night, Elsie.
Good night, Elsie. All right, cut around my wings. And now I'm just going to cut at the edge of those bubbles on off the side of the paper. Okay, we have all of our elements cut out for February. Let's go ahead and start putting them in our album. So this time it starts with my pocket page. I think I'm going to do my calendar page first, which is going to be on this page. I'm going to go ahead and take my 12 by 12 here and cut that strip off so I don't inadvertently include it in my measures. And then this page, my calendar page, is 5 inches wide. And we said 6 inches long, I believe, last time. 5 inches by 6. I'm going to add my strips to the bottom and the top of this one. Look how beautiful that is with that lavender. You're doing the same thing with all your pages, but it's very fun because the color schemes are different every time. So each time you get to see what it looks like with a different color combination. Put a little glue here to hold that together. And I've got my beautiful little lavender border put on there. I'm going to do it again on the top. I'm balancing this out so that the amount I have on either side of the little lacy line on the purple paper is about the same. Let's see how this is going to look on our page. It's going to be perfect. Trim off my extra here. And that looks just right. Okay, let's glue this down. Then we're going to score our calendar. I like to get the calendar page as close to the beginning of the month as I can. Because after all, this is a calendar journal, so featuring that calendar predominantly makes some sense. So I try and put it as close to the first page as I can, with the exception if the pocket page falls in between, then you need to move back one page. Here's my scoring tool. I'm going to score a 3/8 inch. Three-eighths on the left, 3/8 on the bottom, and 3/8 on the right side of my calendar. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to snip out this little corner so it folds up on itself without that extra bulk in there. So I'm just taking it out right at taking those two little corners out where my score lines intersect. I'm going to fold these papers back and hit them with the scoring tool. Fold it back, hit it with the scoring tool, fold it up, hit it with the scoring tool, look at it from the front, make sure I don't have any little messy bits, which I don't. From our scoring, I don't want any extra hanging out. I'm going to put glue on those three sides then. Be sure you get a little glue under the overlap there. I'm going to let this calendar rest on that lacy line, on my purple at the bottom. It's going to sit right on top of there. We have now a wonderful little pocket in February. Okay, let's next do this pocket page. And I'm going to want that to be 5 inches wide and 4 1/4 on the top. Come on. Get my paper to line up the way I want it to. It's a little short of 5. And it's resting on that book. Okay. Well, I think I could make it work anyway. Okay. 4 1/4 on the top piece. So that looks good. Line it up at the top. I actually let a little black line show between the two, between the top of, or between the pocket and my backer paper. You don't have to do that. You have plenty of paper to fill that in if that bothers you. I kind of liked it, so I left it. I let a little piece, a little bit, just a little bit of black show there to show that's a pocket page. I'm going to cut another piece here for the pocket down below. That's going to be 5 inches wide by, I'm going to say 2 1/2 because I have that border to go on there. So it's going to be 2 1/2. going to go down here. Isn't that pansy paper pretty? Doesn't that just kind of make you feel like spring? I'm going to go ahead and put this here. A little extra glue there I'll wipe off. I need my butterfly border. And my butterfly is going to sit right at the edge of that pocket. Isn't it pretty, Diane? I agree. It's beautiful. Of course, the fact that they always use lots of purples in February designs makes my heart sing, because I do love purples. I want my butterfly border to sit right on the edge. I've been thinking about submitting this album to Graphic 45 as a project design since I created this one from scratch. I've been thinking about it. Okay, I'm going to put, well, let's see. I don't really have a tag for there yet, but I can, let me see. I think I used, no, I didn't. Where did I put that? Oh, yeah, I put it on the pocket page. I'm going to put this faithful right here at the top of the pocket page. My only hesitancy is that I don't know if I know how to upload it, and you have to submit it with a hashtag title, and I don't know how to do that. I'm not really savvy on a lot of things and a lot of computer things. You'd think when I run an internet company that I would be, but I'm not really. So I don't know. I'm thinking on it though. I do think it's a beautiful design. Hi, Kim R. Okay, there's my violet packet. I'm going to add my little purple borders. Yeah, I should probably ask around. Somebody could probably help me figure it out. You would think Graphic 45 would kind of like this since we're using the Flower Shop papers, their album, their ephemera, their flowers, their photo corners. Thank you, Brenda. I let this stuff intimidate me with computers. To me, one of the worst things I ever have to do is talk to computer techies on the phone because they have their own language. And they've gotten better over the years as they've begun to recognize that a lot of their customers are not computer savvy. They've gotten better over the years, but I had so many bad experiences in the early years of this running my own internet company that it still really intimidates me to talk to computer techs. Doesn't it, honey? I sometimes tell Bryce, this should be your job. And he says, it's not my job. And he usually makes me do it. There is almost no paper left over, Kim, because we're cutting up the extra paper to make our note cards for our journal. About the only papers I had left over from my first kit are this little decorative edge, which could be cut up to fussy cut to add little flowers here and there. But that's about the only piece I had left out of 2 sheets of cardstock after doing the first album. This really is fun, I have to tell you. After you've done the first month or two and you feel more confidence in whipping forward and, constructing stuff, it really is pretty fun. Now, some of these pockets on this flower packet page, I enjoyed putting some of the pockets at an angle.
MS, are there more of this collection?
Are there more of this collection? Are there other items in this collection? Is that what you're asking? Or do we have more in stock? Yes, we have more in stock. And yes, there are a few other items in the collection. There's an 8x8 book. I used almost everything from the collection in this. I'm going to get my ephemera box out here as soon as I figure out what I've done with it. And there was a really cute little pansy stamp in the ephemera that I used on this page. See if I can find that and show you. Here it is. Look at this cute little pansy stamp. I put that here in the corner. Because why not? I'm going to put that down here. I put my pocket at an angle, which I thought was kind of fun. When it tags out, you still see all the lovely flowers behind it. But then you can put the tag back in. And I'm going to put this number 2 kind of at the top and to the right. Right like that. And that's my flower pocket done. This is my 3, oops, let's see, I have this humility, and I'm going to put that, I'm going to kind of center that on my pocket page. But one of the nice things you can do here is look at what you still have in your trim outs, and then you'll know if you missed anything. Because we use every piece. So I'm going to put this humility tag on my pocket page here. And then let's take a look at our February. Oh, I'm going to put this on some black and create a little tag that I can use for something. So let's put this on here. Okay. I'll trim this off. I love this black cardstock with this set. Oops, trimmed that a little narrow, but I'll just trim the rest of them narrow. And shift that just a little. There we go. I got a decent border on everything. Glue is wonderful because it allows you to move things. Okay, so I've got my little stamp I'm going to put in one of my pockets. Now, I have a few pieces left. I want to make myself a couple nice note cards for this month. I'm going to make these note cards. Let's see. Let's make these 4.5 by 4.5 because that's what I have for paper. So I'm going to. I didn't worry about making all of my note cards uniform size. I don't care about that. So I'm putting my extra paper on my black. One side of this will hold a photo. The other side of this will be great for writing bullet points. I'm going to use my fine line Bic intensity markers for my journaling because they'll write on dark paper. Oops, I made that one maybe too wide. Oh, will it fit this one? I never made one as wide as 4.5 before. I'm going to have to cut that down a little bit, guys. It doesn't fit my pockets. I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of each side here. Let's see. Let's cut this to 4. Yeah, just cut that much off. And then I'll cut this off a little bit. Made those too wide. I'm having to scribble a little more than I like to there, just because I had little bits of paper stuck in the glue. Now it should fit. Now it'll fit. So I have that one. Let's cut this one narrower to begin with so I don't have that problem. Need my next sheet of cardstock. If you decide you want more cardstock than we included in your kit, I did put 10 sheets in, so that should go quite a long ways. But if you decide you want more, this is the Stamper's card from Hunky Dory. It's about $15 a pack for 25 sheets, I think. But I put 10 of them in your kit already. With these pansies, it's kind of hard to tell which direction's up. Because they look good from all directions. So Kim, you were asking how much paper I have left. This is what I'm doing with my paper, is making all these pretty little note cards for my projects. Is that still too light for that side? Maybe. No, it fits. There we go. Let's take a look at this month. Okay. Somebody want to zap that guy and report him? Oh, do we still have another? No, we don't. Okay, here's our February. We started with our pocket page. We put our pretty faithful label up there, and we also put humility down below and added our butterfly border. We made a pocket out of our February, and we made a couple little note cards to fit in our pocket. This is just as wide as that one's to take, but it will go in there. So I'll be able to put photo on one side and project notes on the other. And then we have our flower packet that we turned into a little pocket page by adding glue to 3 sides of that ticket. So we have now done 2 beautiful months. And for the other months, you're going to do them exactly the same way. And in fact, when you get to December, where you have 4 pages, just follow the directions for January and you will be good. I have a couple little pieces of paper left here that I can make some more tags out of if I want to. So I'm setting those aside. I think we need to stop now on the inside and go to the outside of our album. Now, I didn't have any of the same crackling this time. Oh, wait, here. Can you come in really close, hon? Gotta come in really, really close. I want to show people what I meant, that I have little separation. See it right there? I have a little separation happening there. I'm going to take my fine tip glue bottle and I'm going to come in right under. See that edge sticking up? I had this happen the first time too. It just takes a lot of, you're just pulling and twisting in a lot of different directions with this album while you're working on it. And you just get a little lift in some of those. And as necessary, just go in and add a little adhesive there. Let's see, I don't have any yet in any of the rest of it, but I'm actually glad that happened because I wanted to show you that I experienced that too. I think it's kind of normal for this type of an album, and you just, affect little repairs with your glue bottle as necessary. Just reach under there and fill that in a little bit more. It's fine. It's nothing to worry about. It's not going to make your album fall apart. It just needs a little extra adhesive there after it's been worked on for a while. Okay, let's talk about the outside of our album for a minute. Or for a few minutes, as the case may be. Now, you have in your kit a piece of black satin ribbon. It is that black stamping card from Hunky Dory, Kim. And I like it because it's true black. It's not like a charcoal gray. It's true black. The first thing we're going to do with our album is we're going to roughly find the center of our ribbon. We are going to put some, I'm going to put some tape on it. I'm going to be careful not to let my tape exceed the part that will be attached on my ribbon. So even if it's a little loose in one place or another. That's okay. I didn't get it exact, but that should do. So I put some tape on my ribbon. It's actually called black stamping card. I'm going to expose my adhesive. I'm going to do this again. Whoops, I just tipped it upside down, knocked all my cards out. I want this to be roughly even. My two sides. I'm going to go right under, I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm going right under the label and across the sides to bring that out pretty even. Okay, that's pretty even. If I really feel strongly about it, I can lift this one a little bit. It's gonna.
Great part. What is the black paper for? Cardstock for tags.
The black cardstock is for making our little tags and for framing our postcards. This is where I'm going to put my photos and my journaling. This book only comes with, I think, like 4 of these tags. So that's my way of making more tags, is to use my leftover paper and make up some tags that I can come in then. And I can put my photo on one side. This is not an accurate photo because this is not going to be a photo album. But you can see Brittany and her dad and her brother. But I'm going to put my photo on one side, then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put my, yes, that's it, the essential stamping card, Kim. Thank you, Roberta. I'm going to put my journaling points on the back. Because my album, rather than being a birthday album, my album is going to be a record of things I create in 2023. Now, I'm not going to try and take a photograph of every single project, every single card I make, because my album would be full in a week and a half. But I am going to take pictures of my major projects that I make. And I'm going to make note of where I got the idea, the inspiration. Did I use a pattern? Is it something I made up? I want to make note of where I got the inspiration. And I want to note anything that was strange or unusual about making it. Did I have to alter something in some way? Okay, you have chipboard in your kit. I happen to have made one extra last time on accident. This chipboard for the cover goes over the top of the ribbon, and it's going to be 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. It's really important we put the chipboard in, and I'll tell you why. Because we're just going to be putting cardstock over the top of here, and over time this ribbon would pull through the cardstock, wouldn't it? But by putting the chipboard down, this album cover, the paper is protected. So since I already have one of these cut, I'm just going to cut along the sides of this one and cheat a little bit. And I will have my front and back chipboards done. I'm not above cheating. Not at all. So the size of that again, it's a perfect fit at 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. You may be wondering if your photo corners will still fit. The answer is yes, they will. Now, I'm going to check both of these since I just cut that one and make sure They're both a good fit, and they are. I'm going to take my rose paper and I'm going to cover these before I ever put the chipboard down, because then I'm not messing around trying to get it on there when the chipboard's already applied to my.
Brenda says you're not cheating, you're just saving steps.
Yes. Thank you. Who said that?
Brenda.
Oh. Okay. I'm going to get a little drink of my meal here. Ah, that's good. Okay. Now, let's put some. Well, I already know it's 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, but I should just be able to cut around this. I'm going to put some glue on it and just cut around it. I do want my glue to go right out to the edges of my chipboard.
So what did you say the black paper was for again?
For making the tags and journaling cards.
Okay.
I'm using my leftover paper to make those, to add a decorative element. You can also put some of the ephemera directly on that black cardstock, and that looks great. It looks really pretty.
Sharma says it's called a shortcut, Debbie.
Shortcuts are good. Shortcuts are really good. Okay. Rub that in really good so my glue's sticking nicely. Just gonna flip this over and cut around my chipboard. Come on. There we go. Now, I don't think there's really any likelihood this is going to show at all, but just to ease my mind, I'm going to put a tiny bit of my black along the edge of my chipboard. So if it shows at all, it just looks like part of the album cover. I could use a decorative color and come up on there, but I have a lot happening on my cover already, and I just want to disguise anything that might show. I'm not worried about the fact that these ribbons have just a little bit of slack still in them, because I'm going to glue this right over the top of that ribbon. That ribbon's going to stay put. I do want plenty of adhesive on the back of this chipboard holding this to the album. Plenty of adhesive. It's got black ink on my fingers. There's no surprise there, is there? I always get into the ink, no matter what I'm doing.
Show them how much glue you put on.
I put on a lot of glue. And I'm just going to center that on the cover. It comes pretty much out to the edges. I have about 1/8 of an inch around in black, and I like that. All right, let's do the other one. 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. Bringing my glue right out to the edges because I want my paper to stick right to the edge. I do recommend this glue bottle with a little higher flow for this particular project because we're applying a lot of glue, and that little glue bottle takes forever for this. And well, it's perfect for most of our card making applications. It's just a little small for this. Okay, so I got that on there. Now I'm going to put my paper down over the top there, smooth it in good. So I get that paper right out to the edges. This is the same rose paper that we get in June on the inside of our album. I decided I wanted it for the outside cover because it was beautiful. There we go. So you've got that really nice coverage over our chipboard. I'll do the same thing with the black. You could use any month. You know, if Graphic 45 runs out of the rose, there are some other beautiful months like the pansies and others that would be equally good. And again, I'm just putting the black along here because even though I don't think the chipboard will really show at all, if it shows, it will just look like a part, you know, that it's just part of the cover. See if I can get this black ink off my fingers before I manage to touch anything else. I give that just a second to dry this time. Yes, you do get the paper for the outsides. And you get the chipboard, and you get the ribbon. You get it all. I was just saying that if the manufacturer runs out of the rose, we may switch to the pansy or something else. If we make more kits, of course. I really do recommend when you make albums. I haven't made all that many. You guys have pretty much seen the ones I've made using Graphic 45 at least. And I do recommend, if you're making albums, put a ribbon closure on it. Because even with your best intentions, your album's going to get oversized at some point. It's going to get oversized at some point in time, and you're going to want to tie it closed. Trust me on this one. So you've seen it's really easy to do that. One sheet of chipboard, and we are set and ready to go. Okay. I included in your kit a template for the back cover. You might see that your template has little lines around it. Cut there. I didn't stop and cut them all out. I just photocopied. I made one and then photocopied it. So you'll have to trim it up to use it. Now, if you want your rose pattern to go the same direction, you'd need to go to your second sheet, because the rose remnant that I have left is kind of going sideways. Now, I will tell you, nobody would ever notice that if I use that. I need I'm going to use, I believe, Bryce got me for Christmas from my store. I guess that's what I asked for. Some Bic Intensity fine line markers. And I believe they will write on black paper. So that's what I intend to use. So I'm going to have to go through a couple times to get through this heavy cardstock I photographed these on. Okay, just about through there. Now. Just cutting the little label portion out. Then I'll hold my template to my album and make sure it looks like it is doing what it's supposed to do. Just a little rough corner to contend with here where it didn't cut all the way through. Okay, so I've got my template. Gold would be pretty too, you're right. Metallic would be beautiful. You are so right, guys. Okay, here is my template. It looks like it's going to be pretty much a perfect fit. So I'm going to transfer my template to my paper. I think I'm going to use this one. I don't know, though. I have to kind of steer away from the, well, it really does look sideways, so I'm not going to be cheap. I'm going to get my fresh sheet of paper. I'm going to trace around my template, transfer it. Keep your template in case you decide to do something else with one of these albums. Just label it and put it wherever you store your templates. I have a notebook that I have started with my graphic 45 designs, and I'm going to drop my templates for my books right into a slip cover in that template book. Okay, I have transferred my template. I'm going to cut it out with my long scissors. Okay. Ruler out here again. It should cut through easier than that heavy cardstock did. Uh-oh, went a little off there. Just kind of got off at a little bit of an angle. I can probably just glue that right back down if necessary. I did cut through just a little. Okay, let's see how this looks on our book. There we go. There's our template. Mary wants to know what I got you for Christmas. You should explain to them that you like kitchen things. Bryce likes kitchen things, guys.
Do we have the black paper listed somewhere?
Yes. Go to Adorable, Scoreable, go to Hunky Dory, primary brands, then Hunky Dory, then Adorable, Scoreable, and other cardstock. So that looks great, huh? I can't see them now, but okay. Next, we're going to begin a little decoration. I think I'll put my corners on first, though. So everybody got 2 corners. If you want more corners, they actually come in packs of 8, which it's completely up to you whether you use more of them. There are 4 corners like this that wrap around the outside corners, but there's also some glue-on decorative ones. Ideally, I think the idea behind them is that you use the, there you go, and now it'll be in there, Stamper's card. That you use the corner ones, the wraparounds for the outside corners, and the glue-ons for the inside corners. It really doesn't matter a whole lot. There it is right there.
This one?
Stamping Essentials Midnight Black 300 GSM stamping card. That's the one. Okay, I'll show you how I'm gluing this. I put glue all over the inside and all over the edges coming up. If you happen to be gluing on one of these, you will find in our kits that we used the glue-ons and the glue-on flat ones and the outside corners kind of interchangeably. Whichever you get in your kit, you'll get two of the same, but just to keep the costs down, we split the packs into 4 albums per pack. So we really do try to do things to hold your costs down as far as we can. So I'm gluing on these 2 outside edges first, and they wrap right around that corner, even with the chipboard, just fine. The first year that Bryce and I were hanging out together, or were we dating by then? I don't remember, but he bought me a kitchen appliance and a sweater for Christmas. And I told him how much I loved the sweater. Because to me, a kitchen appliance is work. To Bryce, kitchen appliances, organizational aids, all the things for in the kitchen. I don't think he'd be impressed with dish soap, but that's kind of how I feel about appliances. Give me dish soap. But Bryce loves kitchen stuff, and he loves to organize it, and he loves to play with it, and anyway, okay, so we've got our corners on. Let's see where we're going to go next. I'm going to put down, as soon as I figure out what I did with it. Now, most of the time, when you get a die cut like this, the very first thing you do is punch all the punchies out. I don't want you to do that, because I die cut this to be kind of a solid base from which to put our flowers on. If we just started sticking flowers on the top of our album without that green, can you see how busy it would get? So the green helps to create a place to put our flowers, okay? So don't punch those out, because if we punch all of these out, it gets busy again. And that's what we're trying to avoid, is the busyness. I'm going to, let's see. I was thinking about putting this on my sticky specs, but I don't think I better do that, because if I do, it's going to pull a bunch of these loose ones out. So I think I'm just going to, I'm gluing down all these points, because I can see that these points are going to be places that are going to want to lift. I mean, that's going to be like the first thing that gets scruffy looking, is these little points. I'm going to put a ring all the way around this outside to hold all those other little pieces in. And then I'm just going to apply some glue all over. That is truth. He speaks truth. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center this on my album. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this one yet. This may end up being my birthday book. So I printed these for you, but I'm not going to put this label on mine quite yet because I'm not sure what kind of a book mine's going to end up being yet. Next, we're going to get our flowers out. Make sure all those little points are down nicely. And when we get our flowers out, you will find that there are flowers. There are leaves in the flowers that you can use to make your albums. I'm kind of spoiled and I wanted a little bit darker green leaves. I wanted them to show a little bit more, and I wanted a little bit larger leaf pieces to play with. So we cut mine out of, Bryce cut mine out of the Heartfelt Creations classic rose die cut, and we ran them through the 3D rose shaping mold to make my leaves. You don't have to do that. That was just an added step because I wanted my leaves to be a little bit different. You will have the leaves in your kit, which are the ones that come with the flowers. Now let's do some flowers here because these are really fun. I'm going to use the same flowers this time I used last time because then I won't need to kind of redesign it. No need to redesign when I already have something I really like.
Is that cosmic shimmer glue you're using in the big bottle?
Yes, it's exactly the same stuff. It's just in a 60 milliliter bottle, which I did not transfer to my little bottle. I'm just using it because I wanted the bigger pour spout. Okay, I used, let's see, I used 4 roses. These are roses. They don't look like roses yet, but they will momentarily. Will you get me a quilling tool out of the box on the table, please? I'm going to use some of these yellow flower centers. They're yellow on one side and colored on the other. I'll get those out. I'm also going to use thank you. I'm going to use these salmon color flowers here. I'm going to make these look like open roses. And there are 3 of those petals. I'm going to grab those. I'm going to take this butterfly with the filigree, and I'm going to take the solid butterfly. So I want those. I still need a few flower centers here. There's one I can use. Okay. So I think that's all I need out of here for now. There's a lot of flowers in one of these packs. You're going to have lots left. You'll probably use most of your leaves. This is what the leaves in the kit look like. And you can see that they would look just fine with this. But to me, they blended in a little bit, and I wanted something that was a little bit more pronounced, which is why I cut myself some extra leaves. You can always do that. You can always modify your kit. So there are quite a few little leaf stems in your kit that you can use. Okay, well, I have what I need out of here, so I'm going to slide this back into the package so that I don't have these all over the floor, hopefully, which I probably will have, because it's what I do. You know me, it's what I do. That's a nice yellow one. Okay. All right. I think I've got everything I need here. Don't let the leaves fool you. One side is green and the other side is a different color. So if your leaves are odd colors, just flip them over. It's fine. They're there. These are actually the centers of leaves, but I kind of like these little knockouts. Oh, that's a good idea, Mary, to color the edges of the leaves a little bit so they don't blend in quite so much. That would have been another solution. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put those away because I'm done with that. I probably should have put these leaves away first, but I did want to show you that you get a nice bunch of leaves. And that idea about inking around the edges of the leaves, that would have worked just as well as what I did. I didn't think about it, though. So see, greater minds prevail in this group. Okay, let's make this butterfly. I want you to fold his wings up on both sides of his thorax. Bend his wings a little bit to give them some dimension. I'm working on the filigree one. And then I'm going to take my glue bottle and I'm going to run a little bead of glue right down the middle of the body. And I'm going to make this butterfly dimensional. And that will be really pretty on our book. You can see how well that glue holds. It's already got that. It's going to make a really pretty embellishment. I could have used two colors if I wanted instead of making it all purple. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do these roses. Okay, we're going to start. We're going to take a quilling tool if you have one. I hope you do. And I'm going to just wrap. Now, come in closer, honey, would you please? I want to show these guys how to do this. You start on the outside edge. Tuck the end into your quilling tool. And then just start wrapping. It is going to look like a hot mess as you wrap it up. Don't pull it real tight, just wrap. And it's going to begin to look just really weird as you go. Thank you, Mary. I agree, we have lots of talented people. And just keep wrapping and wrapping. It's like I said, it's going to look like a hot mess. Just keep wrapping it around. Twist it and twist it. Twist it and twist it till you get to this piece in the middle. See that funny piece in the middle? That's where your glue is going to go. So we're going to wrap it and wrap it and wrap it. And then you're going to fold that last little piece right to the bottom. Pull out your quilling tool and let it unwind in your hand. Just let it unwind in your hand. And look what happens with that rose. I'm going to take a generous amount of glue and put on that centerpiece, a generous amount of glue. And then once I have, this has already been allowed to kind of unwrap some in my hand, I'm going to just push the center of that rose down into that wet glue on the bottom there. There's my piece that's glued. I'm just pushing it together with my fingers and holding it for a minute to let that rose just bond with that glue. And there is our beautiful, beautiful rose. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And it looks so messy when you do it. Okay, let's make another one. We need 4 roses in total. The roses are different sizes. Let's make a little one next. I'm going to take my quilling tool. I'm going to feed the end of that piece into my tool. And I'm going to start wrapping. It's going to look messy. I guarantee it'll look messy. Just keep wrapping. It's kind of heavy cardstock, so it won't feel... I think you could, Diane, just roll it by hand. Take a little needle and wrap around to get the end of it started. And then I think you could wrap it all by hand. Okay, when I get it to the middle, I'm just going to fold this funny part right up underneath it. I'm going to pull my quilling tool out, and I'm going to let that unravel a bit in my hand. I just take it off and let it unwind a little bit. Then I'm going to take a generous amount of glue. I'm going to put on this piece on the bottom. It likes quite a bit of glue for this process. And then I'm going to kind of push the center of that rose right down so it's touching that wet glue underneath. Don't worry if you can see your glue now, it'll dry clear. There we go. Just keeping it pushed down in there till it tacks really good. And then that's going to be an awesomely wonderful little rose. There we go. Another beautiful rose. Isn't that pretty? I think that looks really pretty with this album color too. That's why I chose this color. That just popped back up, so I'm going to hold it a little bit more. Yes, that would work. I think that would work. Okay, so I've got that one. All of your roses will look a little bit different. If you use exactly the same design and you do it over and over again, they'll all turn out looking just a little different. That's a good thing. Nothing in nature is absolutely uniform. I'll put my quilling tool over my paper, and I'm just wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. It will look like a hot mess as I go around here. It will look like this couldn't possibly turn into anything pretty. But I'm just wrapping it around. It's going to look sloppy, messy. That's normal. Just keep wrapping it around until you get to that place in the end. Then fold that bottom piece up, pull it off your tool, and let it all unwrap. Now look how high that one is. That's crazy. It looks like a pine cone. But I'm going to put my glue on the bottom, and I'll push that down into the glue, and it will form a perfect rose. They'll all turn out a little bit different. It's okay. Generous amount of glue on the bottom there, because we really want it to catch those pieces of the flower. Yeah, you sure can make these, Roberta. Quilt Creations has a rose die like this. Hunky Dory, I believe, has a rose die. Just holding it there in place, letting that glue really grab those papers. That's what'll keep your roses together. So it's an important step to just hold that a minute and get that to really bond in there. There we go. One more rose to do. It's a big one. We'll see if it turns out big. None of these have turned out particularly big. Not as big as last time. They'll all turn out differently. I'm going to put my quilling tool over my paper. I'm going to start winding. Winding, winding, winding. Winding, 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 winding. Winding, winding. Winding, 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 winding it till we get clear to the end. When I get clear to the end, I will fold that bottom part up under there, and I will let this unwind a bit in my hand. Oh, this is going to be a nice big one. Good, we needed a bigger one. Okay, and I'm going to take this big piece on the bottom here, put a generous amount of glue on there, hold this rose, pushing the center and all the layers into that. Just holding it in place, thumb on the bottom, finger on the top, just really letting that paper tack together to the glue at the bottom. Do you believe you could make something so pretty with such a simple action as winding that paper like that? It's amazing, isn't it? Did Thelma's son show up today? Is that what was?
Why she left earlier.
Okay.
She's back.
Okay. So I have my rose. We have a bigger rose this time. Don't worry about the fact that if you see some white down in there, if you see that white down in there, that's all going to dry clear. Okay, let's shape our other flower petals a little bit. I'll do with my foam mat. I don't know what I did with my foam mat, so I'm going to grab my embossing mat off my cutter. I'm going to shape my flower petals a little bit. I've lost my embossing tool too. It's probably wherever my foam mat is. Okay, well, I'll just do it a different way. Okay, we're going to take these petals and we're going to shape them a little bit by hand. I want to kind of take these and just kind of wrap the two sides. It kind of looks like a heart. Wrap each side of that heart around your index finger using your thumb to apply some pressure. See how you get that? Oh, here's my tool. That part's good. I found my embossing tool. Now I'm going to rub this in the center, and it's going to make that slightly concave, which is pretty. I'm going to take this little starburst sort of thing. I'm going to give it some of the same treatment. Make that a little bit concave. And I'm going to put this in the middle of that flower. We have one blossom. So I'm wrapping each side of that flower petal around my index finger and kind of applying a little bit of pressure with my thumb. Just go around the flower blossom. I'm going to take my embossing tool and I'm going to make that kind of concave. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm sorry you're having to deal with that today, Thelma. Probably not make this one quite as concave. Look at that, isn't that pretty? I'm gonna glue this in the center and offset the petals so we have nice texture to that flower. I'm going to take this little starburst. I'm just going to make this just a little bit concave too so it will fit into our flower. A little glue in the center. And there we go. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. All right. There we go. Time to start putting our flowers on. Okay. So I'm going to actually stick some things inside my cover. When your album is done and you're doing your cover is going to be pretty level because your book is full, right? But when you go to try and work on it before your book is full, it kind of wants to be at an angle. So I'm going to get my cover up here where I can work on it flat. I'm putting some things inside it. Okay. I'm going to grab one of my rose leaves here. These are already texturized because we ran them through the machine. I think I will probably use some sticky specks on this, because we do have these little curlicues on it. Only the first one or two will I use intact. Once I have a couple of them on here, I'll start tearing the leaves apart, because that's what I like to do. I like to put the leaves where I want them to be, not naturally where they appear. But I'm going to put this rose leaf up here just to get me started. I'm going to put maybe my largest rose and my smallest rose up here. Now I'm going to tear one apart. And I'm going to put some leaves coming down from here. So I think I'm ready to go ahead and glue this leaf in, a little on the back of that curly. And a nice bit of glue on the bottom of that rose. Put a bit of glue on the bottom of this rose. And I'm liking the way that looks. Now let's come down here to the bottom, and I'm going to create kind of a base of leaves over here. I think I'll just put those on just like that. That one there. You would have thought by now that the spammers would have figured out that we're not a particularly hospitable channel to them. They're not going to find any customers here for hot girls. You would think they would have figured that out by now, but they clearly have not. Oh, I mentioned to you guys the other day that I was looking for a caregiver for my mom, and I worked with a group called Elder Options. They're a nonprofit group in town that helps with all kinds of senior issues. Don't know if any of you have ever worked with a similar organization, but I called them. That called them before when Mom had her surgery, and I wanted a CNA to come and stay with her because Gail and I were afraid we wouldn't know what to do. As it turned out, my mom was so tough she wasn't down very long at all after her surgery. But we worked with them before and they were great. So I called them again, and they have two people coming to help us. One's in her 40s, one's in her 50s, and they're both very experienced caregivers. So I'm feeling really good about. They come highly recommended. They're trustworthy, and they're coming to do all kinds of mom activities. That's what I described to elder care we needed. My mom needs a mom for a while to help her. And so look at those roses. Aren't they pretty, the open roses there? Now we'll take these two and we'll position them down here. I think I might have liked this back a little further, but I glued it in my infinite wisdom. So I think we'll just go with that. That's actually pretty though. I like it. It's pretty. Now you see one more thing I might like here. So I'm going to dig in one of my boxes down below my table. Here I have my flower making stuff. And what I think this needs now is a couple little stamens sticking out like berries. So I'm going to dig around in one of my boxes here till I find something that I think I would like. I have a couple boxes of good ones. Okay. I like this one because it pulls in the light yellow from the flowers. These are just flower centers from Heartfelt Creations. You use these to put in the middle of your flowers. But I find that when I'm arranging flowers, I just like to have a little extra texture sometimes. And so I like to create like a little berry cluster and stick out here and there.
This was in reference to the hot girls.
Oh. Okay. So I just kind of twisted those stems together, and I'm creating a little berry cluster that I can stick out there. And I'm going to bring these out. You can see what I mean when you just kind of put some of these between the flowers. You don't have to have it. You absolutely don't have to have it. If you don't have any, don't feel bad. But if you have some stamen, whoops, I just knocked my little cluster apart there. But if you have some little stamen, it's just a hot flashes. You crack me up, Mary. Or the hot flash girls. Oh my gosh. That's funny. And I'm just going to stick those little berries coming out here and there in a couple places. You might not like it. I like it. Which At the end of the day, what each of us likes in our own creations is what matters the most, right? So if you don't like it, don't do it. But if you do, it's just kind of a fun little extra thing you can do to dress up your florals. I'm going to put a little, going to get glue all over my fingers again. Nothing unusual about that, is there? I'm going to put a little cluster. Sometimes they look nice kind of coming out from the ends, so you don't have a blunt end in your creation. I'll put about a dozen of these stamen all together in here. I'm going to put a little bit coming out on the side. To me, this kind of represents like having rose hips on your rose bushes where your bloomed out flowers have been. It just adds one more little element. Shouldn't cut wire with your crafting scissors, but I'll resharpen them with my Fiskars and they'll be fine. That doesn't look good. Let's just kind of rework that one. That's kind of a little double one that just doesn't want to cooperate. He goes away. And get two more. I already cut one of those off, and then the other one just doesn't want to stay in the little bunch. One more on that end. Okay, I need a couple at the top. We're closing in on the end of this project, guys.
Yeah.
The wire cutting thing's killing me, Sharma says. Cutting that wire with my good scissors. You know what? I can put an edge right back on these scissors, Sharma. It's okay, really. I abuse my scissors. I admit it. I do. I abuse them. And they just keep right on cutting for me because I have that wonderful Fiskars scissor sharpener. But these little stamen will not be in your kit. We do have stamen in the store if you want some and don't have any. But a lot of you who have done flower making with me have a collection of stamen. And just grab a couple of those. These happen to be little yellow shiny ones or sparkly ones. They don't have to be sparkly. They can be sparkly. The other colors that would look really pretty in this, surprisingly, purple would look beautiful. Little purple berries coming out. Red would look pretty. No, it just doesn't. There we go. That's the place. It's very light wire, guys. It's very light wire. But when I finish cutting this wire, I will still be able to sharpen these scissors up on my Fiskars sharpener and cut ribbon. So it's okay. I'm really not ruining my scissors. I promise you I'm not. I'm a perfect advertisement for scissor sharpeners. Because I abuse. Ooh, there we go. Okay. I abuse my scissors in every possible way. But I don't buy expensive scissors. I buy super cheap scissors. Let's tie this off pretty. A nice little bow. I will add a label if I decide I want one to my album later. Can you back up just a little, huh? There we go. There's our album on the outside. Beautiful. Here's our spine, our back. One of my beads just fell out, probably the last one I put in. Let's open it up and take a look at what we did inside. Too late to cap this bottle, it's already stuck. Oh, that's everything I stuck inside it to get it to level out. These are some of the note cards I actually made for my first set, and it was too full already, so I pulled some of them out. But you can see what I did with some of my ephemera pieces, sometimes my stamps, that little clock. But don't they look beautiful? Put a little frame. I thought I could put a picture of something small in there. I don't do this stuff with my cutter bees. I agree with that, Mary. I also don't have a good experience of trying to get an edge back on my cutter bees with my Fiskars. So I have a great experience getting them on there, getting a good cutting edge with my cheap scissors, but not with my more expensive scissors. And this is what we've done today. So for March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, rinse and repeat. For December, you'll make another half pocket, just like we did this one. And you'll make 4 pages for December, just because we do have that extra page. And we might as well have a pocket on the back cover. So there we go. Do you guys have any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom? This is a really fun class today. I have to admit that I really can't wait to I really can't wait to do the remaining months because it's very fun to do. It's very, very fun to do. Might have to work on it during our table time this weekend, Lisa. So we have table time tomorrow. And a crocodile, yes. Okay. If let's see, what do we got going on here? We have this the next Thursday, the 12th. Next Thursday, we're going to do this winter nature set by it's a papercraft special. It's by Practical Publishing, and they did this to raise funds for this nature organization. It has some really beautiful stuff in it, and I can't wait to get in and play with that. Next Saturday, the 14th, we're going to be doing a paper crafting kit from Find It Trading, and you know these always turn out fun. And that's what I have coming up for the next week. Tomorrow will be limited quantity limited quantities Sunday. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to put my butterfly on. I just saw it sitting here. Let's put my butterfly on. So we'll have let's see, we have our sale tomorrow. And then Tuesday, we'll have $2 Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll be back for What's New Wednesday, back online. Thursday, we will be doing that nature kit, and so on and so forth. Hit that like button if you haven't already done it. I sure would appreciate that. And if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. We're always doing fun stuff on here, and you don't want to miss any of it. So hit that subscribe button. For now, I'm going to say good night, Gracie. Take care, guys.